What if I told you that your go-to healthy breakfast, the warm, comforting bowl of oatmeal you eat every morning, might be silently sabotaging your health? Sounds unbelievable, right? But stick with me, because if you're over 60, there are hidden risks in that innocent-looking bowl that no one is talking about. And the scariest part? It's not about the oats themselves, but what you're doing to them without even realizing. These small everyday mistakes, like how you store or reheat your oatmeal, might be turning a superfood into a slow-acting threat. We're talking increased inflammation, gut distress, and even cancer risks. I know it's unsettling. You're trying to make the right choices, you're putting in the effort, but some seemingly harmless habits might be working against your best intentions. So if you care about protecting your long-term health and want to be sure your morning routine is helping, not harming you, need to see this video through to the end. Because today I'm going to break down the 4 most critical oatmeal mistakes people over 60 unknowingly make. One small change might not only save your breakfast, it could help preserve your energy, your digestion, and even your future. And hey, before we dive into mistake number 1, I just want to say, if this video helps you, please hit the like button so I can keep creating more content like this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way, you won't miss a single tip that could make a real difference in your health journey. Oh, and let me know what you think in the comments. If you're enjoying this kind of video, just type 1. If not, type 0. I'm always looking to improve and bring more value to you. All right, ready to uncover the truth about your oatmeal? Let's jump in. Mistake 1, reheating leftover oatmeal. Imagine this, you've had a busy week. To save time, you prep a big pot of oatmeal on Monday. Every morning, you scoop out a portion, toss it in the microwave, and go about your day. It seems like a smart move, easy, efficient, and still healthy. Right, not quite. While oatmeal may seem like a safe and wholesome choice, reheating it, especially after improper storage, can introduce hidden dangers that become more serious as we age. Here's why. When you leave oatmeal sitting at room temperature for too long, or store it in the fridge without care, particularly if it contains milk cream or sweeteners, it becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and microorganisms. These tiny invaders don't just affect the taste or texture, they can disrupt your digestion and fuel internal inflammation. Then comes the microwave. When you reheat oatmeal using high heat, especially in a microwave, you expose the food to a process that can generate harmful compounds. One of the worst, advanced glycation end products, are AGs. AGs form when proteins or fats mix with sugars under high heat, and they're bad news linked to inflammation, cellular damage, aging skin, stiff joints, heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. For older adults, this is especially risky. Our bodies naturally become less effective at managing inflammation and oxidative stress over time. So when you reheat leftover oatmeal, especially one that's been stored poorly, you could be silently amplifying these health threats. Let me tell you a story that might hit close to home. Walter, a 76-year-old retiree, was doing everything right. He was living alone, eating simple foods, and watching his budget. Every Monday, he'd cook a big pot of oatmeal, store it in the fridge, and reheat it daily in the microwave. He felt proud of his routine, efficient, cost-effective, and seemingly healthy. But over time, something started to feel off. Walter began to experience digestive problems, bloating, stomach discomfort, constant fatigue that didn't go away with rest. He visited doctors, ran tests. Everything came back normal, no clear cause. It wasn't until a deeper conversation with his physician that the real culprit emerged: his habit of eating reheated oatmeal all week long. His doctor explained how storing cooked oats for too long, especially with milk or sweeteners, and reheating them in the microwave, could be causing digestive irritation and low-grade inflammation in the gut. Walter was skeptical, but willing to try a change. He stopped batch cooking. Instead, he began making a fresh bowl of oatmeal each morning. Sometimes he even tried overnight oats, soaking them in almond milk or yogurt, cold, and ready to eat by morning. Within weeks, the difference was remarkable. His bloating subsided. His energy returned. He felt clearer, lighter, more balanced, all from this one small shift. So what can we learn from Walter's story? It's not just about oatmeal, it's about how easily we can turn something healthy into something harmful with just a few routine missteps. Here's the science in simple terms. Bacteria. Growth, leaving cooked oatmeal out too long, especially when it contains dairy or sugar, can turn it into a bacteria buffet. Oxidation, storing oats in the fridge for days, causes chemical changes that degrade nutritional quality and increase toxins. Microwave damage. Quick high heat reheating causes uneven heating and the creation of AGs compounds your body struggles to eliminate. For those over 60 who may already be managing chronic inflammation, weakened digestion, or slower metabolism, these mistakes aren't small. They stack up over time and quietly erode your health. Here's how you can protect your body and still enjoy your beloved oatmeal. Make fresh batches cook just enough for one serving. Yes, it takes a little more time, but your digestion and energy levels will thank you. Store smart. If you must store leftovers, place them in an airtight glass container and refrigerate them immediately. Don't let them sit out. Eat within 24 hours. Avoid microwaves. Reheat gently on the stovetop with low heat. Or better yet, skip reheating altogether. Try overnight oats, combine oats with milk or yogurt, and let them soak overnight in the fridge. They're refreshing, digestible, and don't require cooking at all. You can even add fruit chia seeds or a touch of cinnamon for flavor. Not only does this method preserve more nutrients, but it also eliminates the risk of harmful compound formation. It's easy to overlook these small habits. After all, we've been told for years that oatmeal is a superfood, and it is when done right. But as we age, the details matter more. Our bodies change. What worked at 30 doesn't always work at 60 or beyond. By being mindful of how we prepare, store, and consume even the healthiest foods, we can protect ourselves from silent risks. So next time you reach for that bowl of oatmeal, ask yourself, is this helping me or quietly hurting me? Make the small changes. They matter more than you think. And stay tuned, because the next mistake might be hiding in your toppings. So by now you know that just one small tweak, like avoiding reheated oatmeal, can go a long way in supporting your health, especially as we age. But that's just the beginning, because the next common mistake, it's one many people make without even realizing, every single morning. Let's talk about sugar. Mistake 2, overloading oatmeal with sugar. Sure, oatmeal is naturally bland, and who doesn't love a touch of sweetness to jazz it up? A drizzle of honey, a swirl of maple syrup, maybe a spoon or two of brown sugar. It seems innocent enough, right? After all, we've earned a little indulgence, especially if it's wrapped in something healthy. But here's the reality. When you pile on the sugar, you may be undoing all the good that oatmeal is supposed to do. What starts as a wholesome, fiber-rich meal can quickly morph into a bowl of breakfast dessert. And for those over 70, this seemingly minor habit can have surprisingly serious consequences. Think about it, at this stage in life, your body becomes more sensitive to dietary triggers, and excess sugar is one of the biggest culprits behind chronic inflammation damage to blood vessels, insulin resistance, and even increased risk of type 2 diabetes and certain cancers, particularly those affecting the pancreas and colon. Let's break it down. Oats themselves are packed with complex carbohydrates which break down slowly into glucose during digestion. That's a good thing. It gives you steady energy without spiking your blood sugar. But the moment you dump in heaps of refined sugar-flavored syrups or sweetened creamers, you're sending your blood glucose levels on a roller coaster ride. This sugar surge forces your pancreas to release large amounts of insulin to stabilize your blood sugar. And when that pattern repeats day after day, week after week, it starts to wear down your body's ability to respond. That's how insulin resistance begins the gateway to type 2 diabetes. Still think your sweetened oatmeal is harmless. It gets worse. Excess sugar also contributes to something called oxidative stress. Think of it as internal rusting at the cellular level. It generates free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, accelerate aging, and are strongly linked to chronic diseases like heart conditions, cognitive decline, and yes, cancer. For older adults whose natural defenses are already a bit weaker, sugar overload in your oatmeal can silently erode your well-being one bowl at a time. Let me share a real-life example that might sound familiar. Gloria, a 72-year-old grandmother, genuinely believed she was making a heart-healthy choice every morning. She'd pour herself a generous bowl of oatmeal, top it with multiple spoonfuls of brown sugar, and swirl in a splash, or sometimes more of flavored coffee creamer. It tasted great. Felt comforting. It seemed like the right thing to do. But by mid-morning, Gloria found herself constantly dragging low-energy, foggy thinking and a gnawing hunger that hit too soon after breakfast. At her routine checkups, her doctor noticed her blood sugar levels creeping into dangerous territory. When her physician asked about her breakfast habits, it all made sense. So Gloria made a change. She swapped out the sugar and creamers for fresh banana slices, a handful of blueberries, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Occasionally, she'd add a dash of vanilla extract for depth of flavor without the spike in sugar. And the difference, night and day. Her energy stabilized. No more mid-morning crashes. And at her next follow-up, her glucose levels had significantly improved. It was a clear sign even small shifts in your oatmeal routine can lead to powerful health benefits. So how can you enjoy oatmeal without falling into the sugar trap? Start with flavor, not sweeteners. Here are some easy, delicious swaps. Use fresh fruit. Add sliced apples, bananas, strawberries, or blueberries. Not only do they add natural sweetness, but they also bring fiber, antioxidants, and essential vitamins that support your immune system and digestion. Spice it up. Cinnamon, nutmeg, or a splash of vanilla extract can make a huge difference in flavor without raising your blood sugar. These spices add depth and warmth without any of the downsides. Add texture and nutrition. Throw in a handful of chopped nuts, chia seeds, or ground flaxseed. These don't just make your oatmeal more satisfying, they slow sugar absorption and provide healthy fats for heart and brain health. Skip the instant packets. Those little pre-sweetened oatmeal packets, they're often packed with hidden sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives that rob your oatmeal of its natural benefits. Instead, go for plain rolled oats or steel-cut oats and flavor them yourself. Be smart with sweeteners. If you really crave a little sweetness, use a teaspoon of raw honey or real maple syrup, but keep it minimal. And always try to pair it with protein-rich toppings like Greek yogurt, nut butter, or even a soft boiled egg on the side. This helps balance your blood sugar and keeps you full longer. Look, choosing oatmeal is a great start, but what you put in it makes all the difference. By avoiding that extra sugar, you're not just improving one meal, you're protecting your metabolism, your energy levels, and even your future. It's not about giving up what you love. It's about loving your body enough to fuel it the right way. So tomorrow morning, when you're stirring up that bowl of oats, ask yourself, is this meal giving me life or draining it? Choose wisely. Your health is worth it. And don't go anywhere, because the third mistake might be something you've done without even thinking. And it all comes down to how hot your oatmeal gets. So far, we've seen how the sweetness in your oatmeal, when overdone, can quietly derail your health goals. But what if I told you that the way you cook your oats could be just as harmful as what you put in them? Let's uncover the third common mistake many people make when preparing oatmeal, especially if they're in a hurry. Mistake 3, cooking oatmeal at excessively high temperatures. For many, cooking oatmeal feels like second nature. Bring water or milk to a boil, toss in the oats, and let everything simmer until it softens into that warm, creamy texture we all love. Simple, right? But here's the catch in trying to speed things up. A lot of people, maybe even you, are turning up the heat way too high, whether on the stovetop or in the microwave. And while this might save you a few minutes in the morning, it could be silently reducing the nutritional power of your oats and introducing health risks you've never considered. Sounds extreme. Let's break it down. When oats are exposed to very high heat, especially without enough liquid, they can undergo a chemical process known as the Maillard reaction. You've probably seen it before, the browning of food that gives grilled meat or roasted vegetables that rich, deep flavor. In oatmeal, it's subtler, but the effect is real. While this reaction can improve flavor in some dishes, excessive heat, especially in something as delicate as oats, can push the Maillard reaction too far. That's when AGEs, or advanced glycation end products, begin to form. And these AGEs are no joke. These are harmful compounds that, once inside your body, contribute to chronic inflammation, a root cause of many major health issues, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. But that's not all. AGEs also damage proteins like collagen and elastin, which keep your skin firm and your joints flexible. In other words, overcooking your oatmeal may be aging your body from the inside out. The tricky part: your oatmeal doesn't have to be burned or charred for this to happen. Even if it looks perfectly fine, cooking it too hot or too fast can still create invisible harm. Let's take a look at someone who unknowingly fell into this exact trap. Meet Ron, a 68-year-old retiree with a no-nonsense approach to life. He took pride in keeping things simple and efficient, including his morning routine. For over 10 years, Ron had been eating oatmeal every day. But instead of the stovetop, he always used his microwave, setting it to high and cooking his oats in under 2 minutes. To him, it was the perfect combination: quick, easy, and healthy. But during a routine checkup, Ron's doctor noticed some concerning changes. His inflammation markers were higher than expected, and he was starting to experience joint stiffness, unusual for someone who remained fairly active and health conscious. After some discussion, his doctor asked about his diet, specifically how he prepared his food. When Ron described his microwave method, the doctor suggested that the high heat might be contributing to elevated AGs in his body. Ron was surprised. He had no idea that simply zapping oatmeal in the microwave could have such an effect. Taking his doctor's advice seriously, Ron made a small but important shift. He began cooking his oatmeal slowly on the stovetop over low to medium heat. He used extra water, stirred frequently, and allowed the oats to cook gently rather than rush the process. And the results? Within just a few weeks, Ron started noticing positive changes. His oatmeal didn't just taste better, it was smoother, creamier, with a rich, slightly nutty flavor. His energy felt more stable, and those nagging joint aches began to ease. When he went back for follow-up tests, his inflammation markers had also improved. A small change made a big difference. So how can you make sure your oatmeal is working for you, not against you? Here's how to cook oats properly while keeping all the good stuff intact. Use gentle heat on the stovetop. Always cook over low to medium heat. Not only does this prevent burning, but it also helps preserve the heart-healthy benefits of oats like fiber, beta-glucans, and essential minerals. Add enough liquid. Keep your oats well hydrated during cooking. For rolled oats, a 2:1 ratio works well. 2 cups of water or milk to 1 cup of oats. For steel-cut oats, which take longer to cook, use about 2.5 cups of liquid to every 1 cup of oats. Not only does this prevent sticking, but it helps ensure even cooking. Stir. Regularly stirring prevents the oats from sticking to the bottom of the pot and ensures consistent texture and heat distribution. Plus, it gives you creamier oatmeal every time. Microwave. Use lower power. If you rely on the microwave for convenience, don't crank it up to full power. Reduce the setting to 50 to 70% and extend the cooking time slightly. This gentle heat gives your oats time to cook through without creating ages. Pause and stir. In the microwave, stop and stir every 30 to 60 seconds. It prevents clumping, avoids uneven hot spots, and makes the texture far more enjoyable. Flavor naturally. For added depth and richness, consider a pinch of salt or a drop of vanilla extract while cooking. These small touches bring flavor without adding sugar or unwanted chemicals. When it comes to oatmeal, how you cook it is just as important as what's in it. Cooking oats at excessively high temperatures may seem harmless, but over time it can strip away nutritional value, introduce harmful compounds, and quietly undermine your health. Especially for those over 60, when our bodies are more sensitive to inflammation and oxidative stress, being mindful of your cooking method can go a long way in protecting your health. So the next time you're tempted to blast your oats in the microwave or crank the heat on the stove, take a moment. Let it simmer gently, stir with care. Your heart joints, skin, and taste buds will thank you. And if you're still watching this video and finding these lessons helpful, please drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. Your support means a lot and helps me continue creating helpful content like this. Now let's move on to the final mistake, one that might be hiding in your attempt to make oatmeal healthier with artificial sweeteners. So now you know, cooking your oatmeal gently can help preserve its powerful health benefits and keep harmful compounds at bay. But even if you're cooking it right, there's one more common mistake that could be quietly working against your well-being, and it often hides behind good intentions. Let's talk about mistake number 4, sweetening your oatmeal with artificial sweeteners. Mistake 4, using artificial sweeteners in oatmeal. When you're trying to eat healthier, cutting sugar feels like a no-brainer. So it's no surprise that many people turn to artificial sweeteners like aspartame, saccharin, or sucralose to add flavor to their oatmeal without the calories. It sounds like a smart choice, especially for those trying to manage weight or regulate blood sugar. But here's the truth most people don't realize. These artificial sweeteners have no nutritional value, and worse, they can actually interfere with your body's natural processes in surprising ways. Especially when stirred into a hot bowl of oatmeal or introduced into the acidic environment of your digestive system, these chemical sweeteners may begin to break down. And when they do, they can release byproducts that may not only irritate your system, but over time disrupt the healthy balance inside your gut. Why is that such a big deal? Because your gut isn't just about digestion. It's home to a massive ecosystem, a complex community of trillions of beneficial bacteria that support your immune system, regulate inflammation, help with mental clarity, and even influence your mood. This ecosystem is known as the gut microbiome, and maintaining its balance is key to overall health. Unfortunately, artificial sweeteners, because they're chemically different from natural sugars, can disturb this delicate balance. They may reduce the population of beneficial bacteria while encouraging the growth of less friendly, even harmful microbes. This imbalance is known as dysbiosis, and it's not just about tummy trouble. Dysbiosis has been linked to a growing list of serious health conditions, including chronic inflammation, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and certain cancers, especially in the digestive system. Now imagine consuming these sweeteners every single day over months or years. Even though the effects might be invisible at first, the compounds created from long-term use can slowly accumulate in the body, possibly triggering or worsening health issues over time. And because the damage happens so gradually, most people have no idea that the symptoms they're experiencing, like digestive discomfort, fatigue, or unexplained inflammation, could be tied back to a little packet of artificial sweetener in their morning oats. Take Linda, for example, a 72-year-old grandmother who had spent years carefully managing her diet. She avoided added sugars, ate plenty of vegetables, stayed active, and started every morning with what she believed was a smart, health-conscious choice: a bowl of oatmeal sweetened with one small packet of artificial sweetener. She had been doing this for over a decade. But over time, Linda began to feel off. She experienced bloating, irregular digestion, and a kind of fatigue that no amount of rest seemed to fix. Her doctors ran tests, and the results were confusing: elevated inflammation markers, even though she was eating clean. Eventually, she consulted a nutritionist who reviewed her full dietary routine in detail, and that's when it clicked: the daily use of artificial sweeteners could be interfering with her gut health. Taking the suggestion to heart, Linda decided to make a change. She swapped her artificial sweeteners for natural options: a few fresh blueberries, a slice of banana, or a drizzle of pure maple syrup. She also started sprinkling in a little cinnamon or nutmeg for extra flavor. No calories, just pure aroma and warmth. And in just a few weeks, the results were undeniable. The bloating eased, her digestion became more regular, her energy levels felt steadier. Follow-up blood work showed a drop in inflammation, and perhaps most surprisingly, her morning oatmeal tasted better than ever. She found herself looking forward to it, not just as a routine, but as a true moment of nourishment. So how can you enjoy sweet oatmeal without compromising your health? Here are some delicious and gut-friendly alternatives that pair perfectly with oats. Fresh or frozen berries, blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries aren't just sweet. They're loaded with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber. They help support heart health, digestion, and even brain function. Sliced banana or chopped apple. These fruits provide natural sugars along with potassium, vitamin C, and fiber, making your breakfast both flavorful and functional. Pure honey or maple syrup. If you prefer a liquid sweetener, use sparingly, ideally. Just a teaspoon or two. Unlike artificial alternatives, these provide trace minerals and antioxidants that can support overall wellness. Warming spices. A sprinkle of cinnamon, nutmeg, or cardamom adds depth and sweetness without raising blood sugar or calorie count. Many of these spices even have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits of their own. Superfood add-ons. Stir in a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds to boost your oatmeal with omega-3's fiber and protein, all while helping to stabilize digestion and support gut health. Here's the big picture. A simple bowl of oatmeal has the potential to be one of the most powerful meals in your day, but only if you treat it with care, starting from how you store it, how you cook it, and yes, how you sweeten it. When you use whole natural ingredients that nourish your gut and work with your body, you turn that ordinary bowl into something extraordinary, something that can support your heart, your digestion, your immune system, and your energy day after day. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey into making oatmeal not just convenient, but truly healthy. Sometimes it's the smallest habits that make the biggest difference. Now I want to hear from you. What's one thing you learned today that surprised you? Was it the danger of overheating oats, the hidden risks in artificial sweeteners, or How to flavor your breakfast with fruits and spices instead of sugar? Drop your answer in the comments below. Your insight might inspire someone else to take that first small step toward better health. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more tips on living stronger, healthier, and more vibrantly every single day.